just for those who may have not been paying attention to the Matt Lafleur press conference, here's what our buddy Rob Demovsky did during that presser yesterday.
Happy for our guys.
Hey guys, real quick, Micah's going to do it in the locker room, so if you're waiting on Micah here, it's going to be in the locker room.
So then we look like
No, you can go. I don't care. Good. He had a career night. I mean, I don't blame you, Rob.
dick.
That's right.
So you, sorry,
Can he say that?
yeah,
He just did. Our guy who felt like a Richard yesterday as he walked out of the Matt Lafleur press conference to talk to Micah Parsons, it's Rob Demovsky. Good morning, Rob. How are you doing today?
Gabe, my favorite part of that thing, I heard it back. I did not hear this live because I think I was already out of the room by this point, was when Lafleur goes to, can he say that? Before he just goes, well, he did. I mean, to be fair, they announced beforehand that Micah Parsons was coming to the podium after Matt Lafleur. And people maybe don't realize that the locker room availability to us and the press conferences go on simultaneously. So you have to make a choice. Like, am I going to the locker room or am I going to the podium? And I was in the locker room for a little bit while the quarterback was talking, and then I figured, well, I better get in there because Parsons is going to be up after the coach, and then they changed their plans, and I felt like a you-know-what.
Richard.
I mean, it is like it's not nice. I mean, it's kind of disrespectful to leave in the middle
of the presser.
So I felt bad. I mean, I really feel bad, but that's the Packers. They changed their mind, so I had to do what I had to do.
Rob, fill in the blank for me here.
Okay.
The Packers are blank without Micah Parsons.
I think they lose yesterday, so they are. What would that be? 3-2-1. Yeah, they are 3-2-1.
I said average.
Yeah, I mean. I was going to say, if you want something other than their record, they are in trouble probably without Micah Parsons on defense for sure. It was interesting though, Chewy. I don't know if you picked up on this, or I guess I didn't realize without watching him on every play. Sometimes you don't realize how teams are blocking him play in and play out. But I know I saw him chipped and doubled a couple times, but he said he couldn't believe how few times that they did that to him and how many one-on. He's like, usually guys like me don't get those kind of one-on-one opportunities, and we saw what he did. And I do think the one thing that's positive about this defense, and not necessarily just Parsons, although his fourth quarter was really good too. He had 4 of his 6 pressures and 2 of his 3 sacks in the fourth quarter. But they closed the game defensively, which was, I think, something that those defensive guys, including coordinator Jeff Hafley, really kind of they were not overly happy or thrilled or even thought the fourth quarter defensive stories and narratives were fair, but I guess they finally did something about it.
Well, if we're going to talk about the defense, let's talk about Nate Hobbs. Is he being miscast and misused on the outside? Because he came here as a pretty decent slot player. Yes, the injuries were a concern, but he played the slot pretty well for the Raiders before coming here. The Packers decided to put him on the outside, and it just has not gone well.
No, it hasn't. And, I mean, he did have a recurrence of the knee injury yesterday. Well, I shouldn't say it's a recurrence. He had a knee injury yesterday, and he also had a knee injury previously at camp. Still don't know if it's the same knee or not. There were, quite frankly, just too many other people to talk to get to that yesterday. But I do think, especially the way Carrington Valentine played in the preseason and the training camp, I mean, that guy – I think Valentine, other than Omar Brown, who didn't make the team, I think Carrington Valentine had more interceptions in training camp practices than anybody. And he's barely played, on defense when Hobbs has been healthy. So I do think they need to either look at him and figure out, is the injury limiting him, or is he just not that good, or is he just miscast as an outside corner. Well, the problem is, if he's not an outside corner, then what do you do with him?
Javon Bullard's been really good as the slot guy.
He's been really good. Yeah, he's been really good. Now, Keyshawn Nixon somewhat successfully made the transition from a slot guy to the outside, so maybe they thought that they could do the same thing with Hobbs, but it so far has not worked.
Rob, from an offensive standpoint, Lafleur said it didn't hum because they were playing a lot of 4 shell or cover 2 or whatever. But those are running formations.
Yeah.
Those are formations you run. Why aren't they as successful running the ball this year as they were last?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's offensive line issues. I think there's just some holes that aren't necessarily there. I do think when they got pressured a bunch too up front in the passing game, and I know run blocking and pass blocking are different, but I think when you're an offensive line or an offense in general, and your quarterback is under the heat, which I thought Love was far too much yesterday. It can affect the run game too, right? Even though it's a different blocking style, different whatever. But like, I just think it trickles down to the run game as well when you're having trouble protecting the quarterbacks, and they've got to keep, keep Jordan. They got to give Jordan a little bit more time than they gave him yesterday.
It is Victory Monday. It's brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. Delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian. Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer. But the offense did target someone for 10 targets for the first time yesterday. Tucker Kraft, 5 catches on 10 targets. Was that just a product of this is how the defense lined up, or are they trying to make that conscious effort to get the ball into Tucker Kraft's hands more, who is now their leading receiver, by the way, in terms of yards?
Yeah, I do not think it's a conscious effort. And the crazy thing is, look down at this, because I think it was right at the start of the fourth quarter or very late in the third quarter when Trey McBride had caught his second touchdown. Like, he had at that time had like 7 catches for 50, 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. And at that time, Tucker Kraft had 1 catch for 6 yards on 2 targets, I believe. And I'm thinking to myself, if they think Tucker Kraft is every bit as good as McBride, if not better, and I think that they do, why not go at it the way that the Cardinals went at it yesterday? And I'll forever think to myself, like, I know they say that they throw to the open guy and they go through their reads. Well, on that 4th down conversion, I was a 15-yarder to Kraft, if I'm not mistaken. Jordan and or Lafleur both said yesterday that Kraft was the 3rd read on that play. So, like, I mean, it's not like they went out and intentionally did it. I'll go a little bit back to the first quarter with this game. I mean, Matthew Golden had 3 catches on the opening drive.
Yep.
How many did he end up with?
4.
Yeah.
4.
Like, and that, So I mean, like, they didn't go back to him till I believe that 4th one was well into the second half. So I don't, I just don't quite understand it.
Rob, at the time, what did you think of Lafleur deciding to go for it on 4th down instead of kick the field goal? I didn't like it. I'm like, if you're the better team on paper, you tie the game up. I mean, because if they don't get that, and, there could be a drop ball, anything could happen. The game's over. What did you think at the time? Okay, so just my thought process was, as the down and distance came up, in fact, I'm pretty sure I said to Matt Schneidman from The Athletic next to me, I go, you got to go for it here, right? And he said, yeah. And then they sent the field goal team out, and I said, I don't understand this necessarily, because even if you make that, you got to score twice, right? Because that just ties the game at 23. So I mean, if you get it and score a touchdown, in the way the Parsons is playing, you got a chance to win the game, and that's what happened. So I liked it. I mean, and I can say that at the time too. I said it live, and. Obviously when they called timeout, they were going to switch it. You don't call timeout and then not go for it. So I mean, I know a couple of buddies of mine were texting me, awful decision. I don't care about the result. The decision was wrong. And I understand that thinking, but I don't know that there's a wrong decision there. You know what I mean? I think it's a win-win situation. And I think the chances of converting it, if you feel like you have a good play on, are pretty good.
Talking with Rob Demovsky, as we do each and every Monday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. They have a kicker who was trying to be a substitute teacher, and now he has the franchise record in Lucas Haversick with a 61-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Brandon McManus is going to be the kicker. They gave him $15 million this offseason. But what do you do with Lucas Haversick? you probably just have to release him, right? Is anybody actually going to give you a conditional 7th-round pick?
Yeah, they might. I mean, that's typically the release, the sign and release thing is usually the way it goes for rent-a-kickers. But in this case, assuming McManus is back, and someone before the game told me that they were definitely most likely going to sit McManus yesterday and might even sit him one more game. What's the trade deadline? Is it like early November?
4th.
Yeah,
so 2 weeks from tomorrow.
So if let's say they hold on to him for one more week, and he, what is he, 10 for 10 right now with like you said, the franchise record. If he adds 3 more, doesn't miss anything in Pittsburgh, I mean, and the situation would have to be right for a team that needs a kicker, right? Somebody gets hurt or somebody has a terrible day, to actually say, I'm going to give you a 6th or a 7th, or maybe they do the 6-7. Oh, I can't believe I said that. Sorry. the 6-7 swap. I think you saw that earlier with a trade a week or so ago, right? Like you trade a player and a 7th for a 6th or something like that. I think that happened in the league last week or the week before with somebody. So maybe there's a chance. I mean, look, what he's done has been just, it's been downright amazing and unexpected. For a guy who hadn't kicked in the league since the 2023 season, didn't kick one time last year, was not on a team, I don't believe, last year at all. It's pretty remarkable at a position where it's, there's no gray area. It is you either make or you miss.
So just to kind of revisit with Havrisik and Chewy talking about that decision, it seems like to me there's no rhyme or reason when Lafleur does or doesn't do things or be aggressive, because I don't think anybody would have blamed him, Rob, if they just took a knee at the end of the first half. But instead, hey, 7 seconds left, we get the ball at the 35 because of the touchback. Hey, let's just try to push it down the field, and you end up getting what ends up being a pretty significant 3 points off of the 61-yard field goal. But then at the end of the game, his initial reaction was, hey, let's kick it instead of being aggressive. It just doesn't seem like there is – I don't know if there are rules that he lives by in terms of when to be aggressive or not.
No, I don't think so, Gabe. And that's a good point. I think in the past we've heard him say it was a gut decision, and I do think that he goes off the gut. Which look, you can go off the sheet, like it was the old 2 point. When people didn't used to go for 2 very often, and it was like, well, the sheet told me not to go for 2. But the sheet never tells you when to look at the sheet. Like, at what point do you start looking at the sheet? You know what I mean? That was that was my always thing. Was, well, the sheet said I should do it. Well, who told you when you should start looking at the sheet? Kind of thing. I going back to the end of the first half. This is another press box chatter moment. When they came out, I actually said to Schneidman sitting next to me, I go, man, they're in the huddle a long time for just taking a knee. Like, is the take a knee play call really that long? Like, I mean, I swear to goodness I said it, and I was like, well, I guess that's why it took so long, because they had that play on. And as he dropped back to pass, obviously had flashbacks to, was it the Dallas game where they had the really bad turnover late?
Yep.
And and I was like, oof. Now that they were more towards the middle of the field on this one than they were in Dallas, I believe. But yeah, not one that I would have done, but I guess credit to him and the quarterback, and was it Hobbs, I think, on the play for catching it, getting down, and making sure they had enough time.
Chewy, look at our guy Rob. Gets caught saying a couple of curse words on an open mic yesterday, and now he's going to swear to goodness. He's just really editing himself on the air today. He's gun shy now.
I am. I'm completely freaked out.
Watch those hot mics. They'll bite you.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's all right.
Rob, we certainly appreciate the time, buddy. We'll talk to you again next week. Have a safe flight back from Arizona.
So I have to come home. I have to leave the sunshine.
You do. You do. It was, and it's not going to make you feel any better. But when I got up to walk the dog this morning, I believe it was 41, and it felt like 36.
Yeah. Well, there's I look out my hotel window across the street is the Biltmore Golf Course, and I didn't get to play it, but I at least got to look at it. So I'll have that image in my mind for the next 6 months.
Appreciate it, Rob.
Hey guys, it's Jen from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Thanks for watching our clip. I'm sure it was super informative and educational. I'm just kidding. I love those knuckleheads. And we do it live every Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you get informed anytime we drop new content.